All right, we doing this thing?
Let's do this thing.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Who? How about we do like minor introductions since nobody knows who we are?
Well, shouldn't we do what we're like? I don't even know if we have a premise. Is this just?
It's called Sunday Pontifications.
I like it. I like it. Let's go with that. Sunday pontification.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in high school when I had a band and we went through an iteration of like 4 or 5 names before we settled on our last bad one.
What was your last bad one? And what did you play?
I played guitar. And sang very poorly. So I was in a band in high school where the name of our band was Jill. And I was in a band in college, and the name of the band was Kamikaze Friday.
I kind of like that.
Well, yeah, they were already formed, and I got to school, and then I joined when they looked for another guitar player.
You must have been all right if they said, "Hey, join our Kamikaze band."
Their standards were low.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fair. I was in a band too, but it was a super uber Christian band, which is, quote unquote, just like our lives here. It's called Caleb's Faith.
My band was a super Christian. Both
was it really?
Super Christian bands. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right. Jesus loves you.
Praise him. Okay, how about this then? How about we? So you tell me about yourself.
Okay.
Seth. So Seth, you tell me. Seth, what do you? Who is Seth Irvin?
Seth Irvin is a troubled soul. No, I am a 35-year-old person who gets up most days and goes into a library, though not recently. So I work for the library system. I got 2 sons, beautiful wife, 4 chickens and a dog. So my life is very full. And I like to write. And but my friends and my family, that's what makes it real. I don't know what to say about myself.
What are you drinking right now?
Lemonade.
And why did you pour such a small amount in that glass? Because when I saw you come around the corner with that glass, there was only a little bit. And usually when I drink lemonade, I pull a nice full glass of lemonade. So
concentrated. Concentrated lemonade.
All the lemons is usually a very small amount to get
That's
the
right.
quenching
right
of your standard lemonade. That's good. That's good.
It could also run a tractor, but that's all I'll say.
That's funny. That's funny.
What are you drinking, Mason? And who the hell are you?
Oh, awesome! That means we get an explicit lyrics.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. We could start over.
No. Or
okay.
You could just, or maybe in the editing function, you could find the beeping, and then we can use gratuitous beeps even when they don't matter. They don't need them. Anyway, so let's see here. My name is Mason Murchison. I am a gym owner here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I own Resolve Strength and Conditioning. And let's see, I have a wife named Michelle, and I have a daughter, and a 3.5-year-old daughter, and an 8-month-old son. And let's see, while my good friend here, Seth, likes to write, I like to talk.
And
yes,
you do.
I'm what they call a auditory processor. And I have a firm belief in that I am right about everything until I decide that I'm wrong, and then I'll but also have the right to change my mind at any given time. So I guess that ultimately means I'm unsure about everything.
A happy, unsure person.
Do you feel like that was a fair? You know me well
Yeah,
enough.
that
Like
was
that's a fair description.
much better than my introduction. So props to you. But I did warm you up on that, so you
Yeah.
had a little more time to think about it. And we
Yeah.
should let everybody who's viewing this for whatever reason know that today
Why
is
are you
March.
watching this?
Yeah. Why are you watching this? Today's March 22nd, and we both live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the only reason we're not together is because we are in Corona season. So Corona 19 is an active thing right now. So when we look back on this 20 years from now, here's a record of it. So this is
Yeah.
first pandemic in my lifetime, Mason. I don't know about yours.
I think I wonder if this is, I was thinking about this. I wonder if this is did our parents go through a
Mm-mm,
pandemic like this? Like, did
no.
their parents?
No,
When
I was thinking about it. It would have been
was it influenza?
my great grandmother's generation.
Uh-huh.
So my great grandmother's mother,
Uh-huh.
it would have been their generation, and it was the 1918 flu, Spanish flu.
Spanish flu. That's the one. And that
Yeah.
one, didn't Spanish? I'm hitting the Googles. Didn't
Oh
Spanish
no.
flu? Yeah, Spanish flu 1918. I was
Yep.
listening to somebody else, and they said that was that like a 60%
It was bad.
infected 500 million people. Da, 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 da. So here's an interesting conversation topic. So obviously we know it's not the deadliest in history, infected 500 million people around the world and killed an estimated 20 people. This is coming from the History Channel, history.com,
Well,
historynetwork.com.
killed only 20 people.
20 million, 20
Oh.
million. No, those 20 were pissed. Okay, here we go.
It's like what?
Let's see. It infected 500 million people, or at that time, about 1/3 of the planet's population, killed an
Oh.
estimated 20 to 50 million people,
Whoa.
including some 675,000 Americans. That's from the History Channel .com. So I guess they did a little.
And that's where I get all my history needs is the History Channel.
Look, the internet is very clear about things. You want history, go to history.com.
That makes sense. There you go. That's not a
I
bad
mean,
not a
look,
bad search tactic,
I
said the
never, I never,
librarian.
I never claimed. Well, all your stuff's in books.
That's
What do you
right.
do at the library?
What do I do? What was the question?
I said all the stuff is in books, and I said, "What do you do at the library?" It's kind of leading a little bit.
I don't know. That's a good question.
But let's go back to the Spanish. This
Please,
Spanish
let's not talk about the library. Love the library. Go to cmlibrary.org. All your library needs. Great place. Okay, I'm done.
This thing says that this history.com thing. I might have to watch this one day. I think it said it
We could have
lasted
a
from
viewing party.
1918. It almost lasted 2 years. So here's an interesting question, Seth. What if this thing lasts for 2 years? What do you think this thing's going to do? Like, how long do you think we're going to be? First of all, how long do you think we're going to be for? Let's just spread rumors.
Yeah,
Listen, everybody. Here's the deal. I'm going to get close to the camera for this. We are experts, and you should take everything you hear here as factual, literal information that we will swear by. Okay. So, Seth, how long is this going to last?
I also have to say something. One of us is a freaking liar. All right, thanks. How long do I think this is going to last?
Yeah.
So I will say what I have read and what I've done my research on is it's usually what they've seen in Wuhan, which of course is the first place this epidemic kind of broke out, is that they're finally starting to get back to normalcy 8 weeks after it's finished out. So, I mean, I'm hearing reports all the way into June, July. We could be kind of doing this waiting in place thing. that we're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, we're not even our state's not even fully
Nope.
there yet,
Nope.
which is surprising that we're not there yet. Although I'm always feel like everything happens in the South last.
That's true.
It's always kind of been my perception of living here.
Chipotle? Like, all right.
Yeah, it'll get like, oh, that's happening in California. Cool. Let me know when it's in like
2 years later.
Yeah, let me know when it shows up in Nashville. I'll start to get excited about it.
Right.
That means we'll get it soon.
Hey, but this time it's a feature, right? This time it's not that bad, right?
Yep. Hey, how about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we're pretty well set up for a pandemic. We have like this happening. Like, we can talk to each other online, still have friendships and relationships. We have people who deliver boxes of goods to our houses, like at our beck and call. Like, we're not. I mean, it's scary, but man, think about 1918. What were those people doing?
Yeah.
Good Lord. That is some scary stuff.
It's funny you said that. I don't know if you were recording when we were talking about the Amazon orders, but we both looked at investing in some better podcast equipment as we try to maybe do a better production as we get further into this thing. But I ordered some things on Saturday, and it's going to get here supposedly on Thursday. And you went to order them today, and it said it was a month out.
Yep. Okay, so another context. Sorry to jump back into 1918, but I have to say this. Please. I just made this connection. So World War I was happening during this pandemic. Like, so World War I started in 1914, ended November 11th, 1918. So, I mean, these people, that must have felt like the end of the world. Can you imagine having a world war, the first one? You've never seen that before in your entire existence. And then this pandemic coming through. Good Lord. That's some scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Think of something happy to say, Mason. I'm done. I couldn't put, I was like, wow. Crazy.
Why do you think that no one takes this? I'm not going to say nobody. Why do you think it's taking so long for people to take this seriously? Like, for instance, I still see people going to, well, for instance, we had groceries delivered today. Welcome to our modern society. But I had to stop and think for a minute, like, those are actually people that are walking through the grocery store getting my groceries so I don't have to go there. Like, what is the level? If the danger in this thing is obviously that it, you can be infected for so long and not know it, and thus infecting others. I guess, why are people still risking it?
Well, some people don't have a choice. So there's always those people who don't have like the privilege of being able to hang back or work from home. And that might not be an option. So those are those people. And I'm guessing from what you said, those people don't necessarily count in in that statement, right? If you can't help it, if you have to go out and work.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad reference, because what I'm trying to do is reference someone that's not related to me. So, people that I like personally know that are like doing what
why does Fred not give a shit about this?
Like, it's funny. Like, I was trying to explain this to some family members of mine, and I led with the fact that like this is coming from a guy who has not been adverse to risky behavior in his life. Like, and like I have my like completely unlocked, and like I walk around with freaking disinfectant wipes in my hand. But yeah, it's
well, I mean, I think for a while there it felt distant. Like a few months ago, I
Yeah.
was in China, and so human nature is like, well, it's far away from me. I'll be
Our
okay.
president gave it a very, classy nickname.
Yes, he did. Let's not bring that up. Let's not bring that
Oh,
up. He's a classy man.
well, you also heard like they're going to, he's going to cut checks to everybody except the people who put on social media that he's not not my president, so they're not going to get checks.
That's a good use of our tax dollars. Did he literally say that?
Yeah. Well, they're trying to they're shooting that bill around,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
which I think's got some positive and negatives. We don't have to go down those roads if we don't want to. But apparently there was a tweet, and it has since been removed. But he basically said like that he was essentially, I guess, supporting the bill, but with the exception of people who who said he's not my president. Well, I thought, look, I don't agree with him. I thought it was kind of a like I thought he, like that one time like he dunked on him. I was like, that's pretty funny. Not my president. Like, touche.
And that's why we are. That's why we are in this scenario. That's why we're here, Mason. Thanks very much.
Oh man, it's so good.
Because we wanted an entertaining president, not a good president.
I mean, we did.
We got a good we got an entertaining one.
We also know that like it's a popularity contest.
Mm.
What do you think this election is going to be like? Like in terms of I mean, things are going to be back to normal. Like, I mean, there's some people that are spacing this thing out 12 to 18 months, which I know like that's extreme. That feels extreme. And the other side of it is people say like 2 weeks. And we know the truth probably lies somewhere more in the middle, right? But there are some infectious disease researchers out there that are, and it's their job to look at the worst case scenario, but they're talking about 12 to 18 months, and
well, I mean,
that goes right into a presidential election, and you have two 70-year-old men, like you're not going to put them out in public, like.
No.
And
put them in a bubble.
Do we get online voting out of this?
No, we don't get online voting. We're not going to get it. We're just not going to get it. We might get mail voting, which that would be.
What about female voting though?
That's I think that's actually still happening. Good job.
Oh, they made that legal? Okay.
Yeah, they made that legal.
I've been cheering for that for a while.
Yeah. Good for you, Mason.
No.
Thanks for insulting half of the population in one fell swoop.
Felt like I was pretty progressive on that one. I'm kidding.
No, I think we'll get voting through the U.S. Postal Service. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't see us doing like email voting. Not with our good friends in Russia sitting there saying, "Hello, let me see your email." That's my sad Russian impression.
I had a spam email yesterday or the day before, but it was one of these that it doesn't look like spam. It looks like an actual email. But do you ever get these where it's kind of broken English?
Yes.
You ever get those?
Yes.
And so it was interesting.
They usually are like asking for gift cards, right?
Well, no. It said I'm actually going to pull it up. I thought it was hilarious. It was. It basically said, "Do you do? Hi Mason, this is. Oh, where is it? It's not going to be worth it." But it's like, "Hi Mason, this is Dave. Do you have personal training? If so, can I pay credit card?" Like just some important words that put the English language sentences together. And usually I don't reply to them because it didn't have a link. It didn't say like click. So like it looked like a personal message, right? And so I replied to him and I said, "I do currently offer personal training. but given the current pandemic in our country, my rates have gone up. It's $10,000 per week, and you have to show up in a full hazmat suit. He hasn't replied yet.
I'm sorry to hear that. So how are things going with the gym? Because like, what was it last week? Governor Cooper said no gym for you.
Yeah, Sunday that came through that all gyms had to close for 4 weeks. So we are week 1 into our mandatory closing, and I have a feeling it's probably going to be extended.
Yeah,
that.
Maybe 2 weeks.
Well, I think it's going to be extended. Well, it's mandatory 4 weeks. I think it's going to be. Oh, you think it's going to be another 2 weeks on top of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't anticipate. Like I think we might be down till May. Like maybe
at least.
May.
Yeah.
It's certainly interesting in the gym industry right now. A lot of people out there are doing a lot of good work, and it's really challenging me to. It's interesting because it's everything that I've wanted to be about, and sometimes so afraid to be about because of what the industry drives. I think that there's a lot of good in the fitness industry. I think there's a lot of great people, and I think that there is a lot of disconnect in it as well. And I think sometimes it's really hard to have a health and wellness conversation and a business conversation in the same coming from the same person. And so I think that all, just like hospitals have business administrators, I think fitness, I think gyms and coaches should, you kind of have to make a decision, in this industry. Do you want to make $1 million, or do you want to do what's best for people? And or let me rephrase that. You don't have to make a decision. You have to make a decision on which one you want first.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And
I think that's actually a challenge for all business, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's a challenge.
Yeah, and that's been the difficult part. But I think this, I think we're going to see an interesting swing. I think we'll see I think the two things that people are going to realize is that the reps and sets in kind of workout design and program design, like, man, that's the easy stuff, right? Like that's the commodity. And you can tell that's the commodity because everybody and their mother right now is posting free workouts.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, so, you post the free workouts, and it's air squats and push-ups and sit-ups and do a little bit of running. It's general movement patterns, or what we would call primal movement patterns, and some lunges, some step-ups. You know all about those step-ups.
Yeah, let me tell you about some primal movement patterns right now. Okay, man. I saw your Instagram, and for those of you who don't know Mason, you should follow him on Instagram. He's I think he's at Coach Mason Merch. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, that's his Instagram handle. I'm not that you care. I'm at Seth Irvin. Anyway.
You also follow at Resolve_CLT.
Yeah, that's his gym. But anyway, I'm brought to you by Resolve CLT. But Mason put out a workout. I think it was Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. But anyway, I got up yesterday and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Except it required a cinder block, and being a gym rat like me, I don't have a cinder block. I don't have a weight in my house. Actually, I have a kettlebell. So I do have one kettlebell. So I go outside. I'm like, I'm going to use this rock. And I guarantee you that rock was 3 times heavier than a cinder block, Mason.
How much did that rock weigh?
I don't know, but it was heavy. And let me
tell you.
In
your yard?
Yes. And
put that thing on a scale.
I'm going to. I'm going to tell you what, man. My back muscles are like
fired.
They're like planks.
Is there any new? Are there any new houses being built in on your street or in your neighborhood or anything like that?
No, but the house across the street. The house across the street is going to be for sale. If you want to move over. soon. Yeah.
Interesting. Across
So
the street.
across the
We could
street,
just yell from the driveways.
we could still Zoom. I like Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny. So I think it's so two things. I'm going to send you an invite for that training program. One thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is not a plug. I'm actually going to be putting this out on Instagram and social media and kind of pushing this out to the world. Is that for as long as we're in this kind of social distancing and confinement, I want to do something similar and offering some free programming to people, offering some free avenues to people, but I don't necessarily want to do it via social media. I want to create some engagement with people. So we use an app called Train Heroic. And so I'm going to be offering some free training via Train Heroic for this time period, whether 6 to 8 weeks. So people can access the app, they can track on the app, they can ask me questions in the app.
That's great.
And then we can move forward from there.
I feel like I feel like your business is and I'm working for the library and we're trying to pivot too, right? How do you have a library when people can't come to your facility? It's the same question, right? Yeah. And I think
what happens after this when people realize how much they can do without going to the library?
Yeah, I know. It's a really interesting time, and it's very disruptive, and it's going to be interesting how we as a society kind of rebuild ourselves in this, depending on how long. I hope it's not 2 years like the Spanish flu.
Yeah, well, I think the two things that people are going to miss here, and I think this could go for culturally, not just in the gym business, but I think in the fitness industry, what we're going to see is that you're going to see people understand the higher value proposition on two avenues, either community or relationship.
Yeah.
And community does, builds relationship with other gym goers, which you definitely want. And relationship builds, I talk about relationship in kind of that coach-client relationship, and someone designing programs and being able to work with you in a direct way, specific to your lifestyle, specific to your goals, specific to the things that matter to you. And I think people are going to finally understand, or at least a lot of people will start to understand the value proposition of those two things more so than they did before. I think before this, everybody goes in there just looking for the best workout that can get them the results in 30 days because they want, 30-day abs or, beach butt or whatever they're trying to do to, aesthetically accomplish, as opposed to a lifestyle accomplish or a maybe just a community or something like that. So
general health, right? I mean, just being strong and being healthy versus looking a certain way or fitting in a certain mold of what you feel like you need to be.
Well, what if our health and wellness and our movement and our training was based on a philosophy or principle that we adopted in our lives rather than a desired look or desired aesthetic?
Yeah, I think like that's the tension, right? I mean, I think the one good thing that the coronavirus is making us do is to slow down enough to become hopefully a little more conscious, to think about our priorities in a little more critical way, to think about what really matters. It doesn't matter what I look like. It does matter if I'm healthy, right? Like that is one conversation, but
well, and the truth of the matter is that what you look like will follow your desire for health. So it is 100% a cart and horse deal. If the philosophy of your life is to be healthy, is to only take what you need, is to not overindulge
there you go
at all times. If that's your just general life philosophy, and you make a practice of that, if you have a general life philosophy of challenging yourself physically, of having intentionally embracing discomfort, so that when discomfort comes that you don't intentionally do, like this, like you're better able to handle it,
Right.
Right? When those are your principles, the aesthetic of your body adjusts to those principles.
Correct. Right. But so many of us are so just, we kind of bought this line hook and sinker, right? Like, I got to look a certain way. I've got to perform a certain way. I got to make this much money. I got to, whatever it is, this exterior veneer that we like to paint on ourselves, either to fit in, because like that's the culture you walk into every day, or to prove yourself.
Yep.
Man, it's prolific, and it's so prolific, man, that it's so prolific, we'll destroy our dang home.
Yeah.
Not even care. And like that's what's really spoken to me. Like just in my like meditations and thinking about all this, like, man, all this stuff, for the most part, if it's not centered on like core self issues, like being healthy, wanting what's best for my kids, wanting what's best for me, if it's not centered around that stuff, it's really not worth much at all. It's fake, actually. Like the market, tomorrow the market's going to drop. I guarantee it. Watch it. Watch it. Yeah, it's going to drop.
Call Richard Burr. See, he'll let you know.
Yeah, I know. Richard Burr. Richard Burr is my financial advisor.
You must have done well then.
But like the whole idea of market economics, like market economics, man, it is literally a system that makes us be incredibly selfish. It makes us do what's really in the meta, if you zoom out enough, is not in our own best interest. So it's just I don't know. It's like we're all collectively in a delusion about really what matters.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
I heard somebody talking about this, and when I heard it, I had to rewind it. Shout out to the nonprofit podcast, but and if you can find them, like, go listen to them, because
is that what it's called, the nonprofit podcast?
Nonprofit. But profit is PROPHET.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so they were talking, and they use this analogy of the mirror all the time, and the first time I heard it, I had to just freaking rewind it and listen to it 14 times. But they talk about, like, when you look in the mirror, you don't see yourself. Most people don't see themselves. What they see is the image that they think other people see. And so what they want to become is the image that they think other people want them to become, instead of actually seeing themselves. So when you look in the mirror, when people look in the mirror, they see all their imperfections.
Oh, wow.
But those imperfections, what they're seeing,
wow,
is, and what they can have an image of in that mirror, is that thing that they think that they're supposed to be. Yes.
Yeah, they
so they can't look in the mirror and see themselves. We don't have we don't have the ability to reflect on ourselves.
That's a really, I'll never forget this. This is where everybody's going to drop off of this video. But
by the way, free candy to everybody that watches this whole thing.
Seriously, if you've made it this far,
email me, Mason@resolveclt.com.
We'll ship you an Amazon box, right?
I'll use gloves and spray it with Lysol and send you candy for watching the whole thing.
But have you ever, I had this moment, and it was like probably 15 years ago, and I walked into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw myself, not those projections, because I totally get that. Yeah. I had this one pure moment of looking in the mirror and thinking, hey, that's me. That's good. It was like none of that. No, look at you, drink more. I'm sorry.
What about me? We're going down the rabbit hole, man.
But I think that's the truth. Man, I think we honestly, if anything can be afforded of this time, is that hopefully we take the time to be a little more conscious and a little more grateful and a little more attuned to ourselves. I hope that happens for our society just a little bit during this time where we got to slow down. Because I think that honestly, we live in a graceless kind of culture, right? You're either good or bad. You're either um, embedded, or you're either engaged or disengaged. Like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. There, you react to that. I'm done. I looked in the mirror one day and felt good. So
Yeah, it's. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, and it just reminded me the things that this person was talking about. It was this constant conversation of what other people think and these ideas of what this person thought that life would be like. And at some point, we all have this idea of what we think life's going to be like. But I think that the unfortunate part is I think people go their whole lives attempting to figure out what life's going to be like and striving for something that somebody told them that, hey, life can be like this and you should strive for this life, as opposed to, taking a deep breath and looking around and just and realizing that life is kind of what it is. Please don't think that we're going to make it through this thing without me quoting Marcus Aurelius, but waste waste no time arguing what a good man is, just be one. Like, yeah, I mean, we we know what is going to, we know what this goodness is, and like it goes back to that stock market thing that you were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're striving for something that is not aligned with just simply being a good person. And being a good person doesn't mean being broke.
No, and like wealth
and
is
being a
not
bad
wealth,
person doesn't mean being rich. I
right?
know extremely wealthy people that are some of the best human beings on this planet. I know extremely broke people that are the worst human beings I've ever met.
Right. It's not about the money. It's about what the money does to you and what you choose them. If you let that money control you,
yeah,
if that becomes the sum of your one, how worthy you are,
yeah,
how powerful you are, it's all made up. It's just linen cloth. That's all it is.
yeah.
That's what it is. That's
We
what it
we
is. Literally, the government makes this shit up, and we are like, money.
at
Like,
some point,
says the
and right
guy
now,
who gives all the free stuff to his community, right? I mean, I
it's
get it.
not even. But right, like think about this now. Like where we're going, it's not even linen and cloth anymore. So it's credits
Yeah, I know.
on a computer screen.
I
It's a number. It's a number
know.
that shows up on a screen
I know.
that projects your value.
Right. All money is numerated little paper piles of power.
I
That's what it
exchange these
is.
credits for my home or for my food
Sure. Yeah.
or whatever. And like we had this we had this agreement that these credits mean something.
Right. Hey man, you know what this? Hey, I'll give you this rock for that drink. This rock.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the same stuff, man.
It's weird.
It's, so that's what I'm saying though. Like, if we're really truthful, we volunteer to live in this kind of collective delusion. And then the delusion starts to fail. The coronavirus is not a delusion. That's
Oh,
real.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You went
What
invisible again.
I know. I tried to make it a quick jump out. I just need a little juice. So here's an interesting thing I had somebody pose, and I've heard this theory before. The earth is a living thing, right?
Yes.
We're all connected. So
The great circle of life.
What if we said like this? What if we said this life is all connected? Like what happens in, I don't know, Italy happens here. What happens to humanity on the other side of the world happens to humanity here. This is all kind of connected. Yada yada yada. I heard somebody say it might have been Rogan, but talking
Seth
about
Rogen?
how, like, yes, Carl Rogan. He's my neighbor. He's about 3 doors down.
Oh, okay. It's like, okay.
And he said, but they were talking about how this virus is like the immune system for the Earth.
I mean, I hate to say that, but like,
But
yeah,
like, hey, like,
yeah. I mean, dude, I think, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm just a librarian on a
that's why we did the
podcast.
intros up front.
Yeah, I'm just a librarian. But I mean, just think about it. Like, there's checks and balances, man. Mother Nature don't play. Did you just cough? You got the Rona? You got the Rona, don't you?
See, remember that video I sent you? Move, bitch. You got coronavirus.
I can't get that time back, Mason. Thank you for
so
that.
Great. What's funny, my wife was, I was talking to her today and I laughed about it. She said, I've been singing that in my head all day and I can't get done.
Yeah, you know what happened in my head? I looked at it and I forgot about it. But you brought it back up. But back to your point, like, I do think the Earth has control mechanisms, checks and balances. That's kind of the deal. If you think about evolution, the strong make it out and the weak don't. Well, and it makes the whole system better. And that's okay. Or I mean, I don't know. Like, so they say the thing came out of a bat, right? Like somebody was chopping up a bat to eat.
Yeah, that's what makes it dangerous. Is it jumping from animals to humans, right?
Right. You know, I don't know, man. Just like, we are the massive consumer. We're the apex predator on the earth right now. And so, yeah, I do see some wisdom in that. It's not very humane to talk about because you don't want anybody to die. You don't want anybody to have to. I know, but I mean, but let's be honest. Like, it's easy for us to shotgun this when it's not affecting our loved ones, but as soon as it does,
Well, even if it's affecting our loved ones, we're making the assumption while we want this experience of life to be as humane as possible, we can't project that onto nature. Like, nature is not humane. Like, if you look at nature away from our civilization, away from humans, like, nature is actually very violent.
Oh, well, let's be honest. We're just very convenient in our construction to make us look humane, right?
Yeah.
If we actually grew our food and killed the animals and slaughtered them, like, that's the reality, right? We just do that somewhere else and we don't do it now. Like, we've engineered it so that we don't get dirty in our consumption.
Chickens don't show up to our house. Well, they show up to your house. Like, better example, like, cows don't show up to our house. Steak shows up to our house.
Right.
And there's a reason we call it steak and ribeye and ground beef. And,
not cow carcass.
Yeah, we don't call it. Yeah, we don't call it. Hey, like, cow muscle. Because it's cow muscle. Pork ribs. Nope, those are pig ribs. Those are the ribs of a pig.
Boston butt. That's a pig's butt.
Oh well. What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know where I totally derailed whatever point you're gonna make, but.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, the when we talk about, like, the humanity of things, like, I think we have to understand that nature in and of itself is not humane. Nature is violent, and it, a point that recently was brought up is that, like, the earth is, we should be concerned about the harm that we're doing to the earth and stuff like that. Like, we're polluting and so on and so forth. Here's the deal, man. This earth has existed longer than us.
Yes.
And I have a feeling that it's going to keep going.
Yeah, and it might look different.
I think that it will adjust accordingly. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I totally get it.
So
I also think the dinosaurs were here longer than we were. So
yeah, we're affecting ourselves. Yeah, we're affecting ourselves more than we're affecting the earth.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're affecting our ability to sustain on this.
Yeah, out of this equation, the Earth is more resilient. That's what you're saying.
Statistically speaking.
Statistically speaking, the Earth's kind of like,
Yeah.
You're giving me a little bit of a fever, but I'll get through it.
Yeah. If the temperature of Earth increases, that's fine. The Earth will just be here and it'll be hotter. We won't.
Earth's like, I'm just gonna go around the sun, guys. Y'all do what you want.
So I think we should rename this podcast "Positivity Moments" or
positive moments with Seth and Mason. I'll give you top billing with Mason and Seth.
Oh, thanks.
Positive feelings.
Oh.
Positive feelings in Corona times.
How about for the 3 people that do watch this? So, well, Janet and Michelle, our wives, they're not gonna watch the whole thing.
Janet won't watch this. She won't. She won't. She will not watch it.
Mom, will your mom watch it?
Guarantee it.
Will your mom watch it?
No. Well, my mom might watch it.
Yeah, my mom might watch some of it. As
long as I
tell her that we I assure her that we don't talk about politics and religion.
Well, we didn't touch. I don't think we touched religion tonight.
And I was safe enough on politics.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not for Iredell County.
Not for Iredell County.
Hey, anybody from Iredell County?
We love you.
I love my little town.
Look, I love Iredell County.
I think about my town a lot.
The last high school soccer game that I ever played was played in Iredell County.
What school?
Statesville.
Did you beat them?
No, it was the state playoffs.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yep.
The Greyhounds. I was not a Statesville high school guy. I was a North Iredell high school guy. North Iredell.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's how you say it.
That is how you say it. Well, hey, I've got a question for you.
Okay. Man, we've sunk an hour in like record time.
Of recording time?
Yes.
Have we been recording?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got a question for you. What are you currently writing? You said you're a writer. If you don't know, Seth has written books, and go on Amazon and buy them all.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what my books look like, well, I just happen to have one right here. This is book number 2 out of 3. Actually, this is going to be on sale for free this week if anybody cares.
That's a hell of a sale.
Yeah.
Sale for free.
Yeah. Take my words, please.
Is just the second one going to be on sale for free?
Yeah, because a couple weeks ago I made the first one free,
and
now I made the second one free. So hopefully those people. I'm not making money on this.
How much does the second one retail for?
The ebook retails for $4.99, and I think it's $15 if you want a paperback. So you're getting the ebook for free this week. Okay. And then the third one is 99 cents. So what I'm trying to do is encourage anybody who got the first free book, they'll get the second free book, and hopefully they'll go up to the third and give me $1. But we'll see.
Do we have the screenwriters writing out the first book, especially my part? Which book do I die in? Don't I die in one?
No, you die in the second one. Yeah. Yeah. It's not you, but there's some loose adjectives that resemble you. But yeah, it's a good book. Yes. What am I writing? That's a good question. I've been struggling. I wrote a poem on the Instagrams because I was feeling some feels. It feels good to write that stuff out. Yeah, I'm struggling to figure out what my next project is because I think like Casey and I'm not the only writer in the Keys of Candor series. Casey Eanes, one of my best friends growing up in Iredell County since 2nd grade. We wrote this kind of fantasy series, but that's kind of wrapped up, and
Mm.
I think we're at a place, Casey and I, where we may come back and collaborate again. We may not, but right now it's kind of this. It's a pause, and that's fine. He's got 4 kids. He's got a big job. I got 2 kids and a job, so it's
4 kids just sounds
4
irresponsible.
kids is a lot, man. All that to say, I think we're in a place where, I would love to engage in my own project, but I really do enjoy collaborating with another person. And so, like, I've got to figure out how to do that on my own. But I've been trying to write this essay on, and the title is really kind of on the nose. It's like, I still believe in God. But I wanted to write this essay about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just like this idea that you can believe in God and still make your way in this world and not necessarily be, I don't know. I think a lot of people deal in the binaries of religion and faith. Like, you're either this or that, or this or that, or not this or that. And I guess what I wanted to comfort people on is, like, you can still believe in God and not have all the answers for everything, and that it still be a journey. And so I need to wrap around and finish that thing up. But I think what's been disruptive is the coronavirus, right? So when I first started writing it, it was coming, and now it's here, and it's like I got to go back and edit that anyway. So I got an essay in me I'm trying to write out.
Good.
About believing in God. That's all I got.
Wait, what did we say we were calling this thing?
Happy times, positive thoughts. Yeah, I'm gonna edit that out too.
No, I think we leave that in. That's authentic.
Positive feelings. What was it? Positive vibes with Seth and Mason.
I think positive vibes have been taken. We're gonna have to. We'll have to do some research on current names. There's like 8 billion podcasts in the world now.
Well, this is technically not going to be a podcast. This is going to be a YouTube video. We should ask everybody who watches this, should this be a podcast?
Well, first of all, I don't care what anybody says about that. I mean, give me your opinion. Seth will read it, and we'll just accordingly. But like I think that can we not? Well, I guess we'd have to do a different audio feed for this. We can edit all this crap out of, or people can just.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
think people can discover how we're figuring this out too.
This is the first one, so it's rough and ugly.
Yeah,
much like us.
One day we'll figure out a title for this thing. And
I kind of like pontifications, because that's what we're doing. We're just sitting around here like 2 old men at the Hardee's.
And you know what the Hardee's.
You know what I'm talking about. These old men who get up.
Candy,
for those of you not for those of you who are not from the South, this is what happens. Old men get up at the crack of dawn, go get a black coffee and
a plain ass biscuit or a ham biscuit.
Yes, and they sit around retired and solve the world's problems. That's all we're doing. We're just like 70 years too early to do it. And we have no biscuits.
My wife will tell you that my dream is to be sitting on a park bench in like a brown derby hat, like throwing like bread at pigeons and just talking to nobody.
Mason, you could do that now.
I do it now without the brown derby hat and the pigeons, but because I talk about things like people care what I'm saying. So I looked up the word pontificate.
Pontificate.
To what? To perform the office or duties of a pontiff? What's a pontiff? Is that
the Pope? Dude, it's the Pope. Come on. Come on. The Pope.
I think this is more. Yeah.
Hey man, there's 2 popes right now. There's
Those
2
popes?
Yeah, you know that. Come on, dude.
There's 2 popes?
There's 2 popes. You got Ratzinger, There's a freaking Netflix movie out right now about the two popes. Are you kidding? Where have you been, dude?
And what's the name of the Netflix movie? Please say Two Popes.
Two popes. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Let's see. The Two Popes. That's the Netflix movie, Mason. Welcome to 2020. Good
That's
grief.
funny. So I think we should call it. I think we should call it pontificate or pontification. One of the descriptions of the verb is to speak in a pompous or dogmatic manner, which those of you who know me,
that's the gist, right?
My wheelhouse.
Boop, boop. I like how we beeped it.
My wheelhouse. Oh, that one's taken too.
Pontificast. That's what it should be called.
That's taken.
Is it?
I just looked it
Dang
up.
it. Dang it. Are you sure it's taken?
I don't lie that much to you. Although, wait a minute. Pontificast?
Pontificast.
But pontificasts with an S on the end is not taken.
I mean, how's Pontificast doing? Who's that guy? What's that guy doing?
What else should we talk about? Should we talk about anything else?
I think we're naturally wrapping up here.
Yeah, I think we're hitting. I think we've gone into the now. Seriously, if you've watched all of this, send me an email.
I'm so sorry.
Mason@resolveclt.com. Use the code word "Stop Rambling," all one word, lowercase.
Stop rambling.
And I will. And
Stop rambling.
leave me your information, and I will.
We'll send you a Zagnut bar.
Yeah, we'll send you something. I've got a 3.5-year-old. We've all got kids. There's
some
candy in
Rellos
our house somewhere.
Some Rellos.
You'll get a bag of candy from our house.
Hey man, we did it. We actually did this. So
yeah,
that was fun.
We recorded it. We're going to put it out in the world.
We'll see what happens.
Buy a website.
Are you in charge of this, or am I?
I'll buy the website.
Okay.
I'm making you. You're doing all the editing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Well, we need to sign off because all these people are really tired of us right now.
Well, they're going to hear my credit card number in a minute.
Well, stay on.
All right. Well, hey man, let's do it again.
Next Sunday. Yeah.
Or if big news happens, we could do shorter episodes.
This was fun. This was really fun. I enjoyed it.
Me
too.
We're gonna make it happen again, my friend.
Yep. All right.
Talk to you later, brother.
The Pontificasters are signing off.
See you next time.
See ya.